This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the MomoCon regionals for the Digimon card game hosted by Pro Play Games. And it was pretty interesting for us just because we don't get a lot of top 16 tournaments in the Digimon card game. A lot of them are online majorly, so having an in-person event with, day one Swiss into day two top 16 cut is not our normal kind of way to play this, but really interesting there. And we do have this this top 16, which it's super skewed to BWGX, but it did not win the event, if that's anything. But man, it's like most of the top, top 8 as well, like all the top 8 were Beelzemon's, and then also second place there. So obviously this is pretty much the end of this format too in a lot of ways. We have June 1st where we do have the new restriction list coming into effect, as well as we do have Ultimate Cups for the majority of the, I think it's actually specifically the remainder of this the set too, so which is different in the sense that we have the monocolor rule and a couple other things and additional restrictions on top of the ones that we're getting June 1st. So, this is more just historically, this is how this event worked. And I'm going to be talking about my thoughts of some of these decks going on into the Ultimate Cup format. So we're going to do that as well. But we did have, again, 9 BWGX, 3 Hunters, 2 Blackwood X, a Bloomlord, and a Machinedramon as well. About 400 players for this event. No live stream for this one because it was in person too. So anyways, we're going to go into the top placing deck list. Starting off with our first place list is going to be Sakib's first place Hunter. And this is pretty standard for the list for Hunters. I'm pretty and I'm going to show the other 3 decks too. So you'll notice that they're near identical. The fourth place Cliff Walker's list is pretty close to it as well. I think it's just 2 cards different. What Dracmon got switched out for another Amano, but otherwise it's the same. And then also the 16th Manai's list is a little bit different. They added the Shoutmons and I think added another Astamon, and then a little bit less Tamers and 1 copy of Overwhelming Power. So this honestly is like the least amount of Tamers I've seen in this deck. It's 6 copies, 11. So pretty low on the Tamers on this one. I would probably lean closer to this build of it too. I don't really necessarily like Astamon all that well. Is a little bit restrictive in what it can go to, and it's kind of just into Quartz most of the time. But I do think it's Quartz is still a pretty good card. We've seen it in Bloomlord, which we're talking a little bit, take a lot of advantage there too. So anyways, but Hunters has always been an archetype that's more on the playstyle for it. It almost always has an out for whatever you can get. Like there's always like a possibility that you can have like superior mode, which does enough damage or gets enough removal or something like that. So it's a pretty dangerous deck, as we've seen. We won't be seeing it much in June, I think, because it is a multicolor deck, which means it's very, very hard for it to be played in Ultimate Cup format. So I don't think anyone's going to be trying it either. So, which is a real shame because I love this deck as well. But anyways, this is the list. Congratulations to Sakib for their finish, as well as Clifford and Benai for their tops as well. Going on into second place, we have Xialong's BWGX, and we've been seeing this deck a lot. Obviously, we're going to get Imon down to 1 copy now, which I think is going to be a little impactful. It's going to be it's going to be a little bit slower, maybe a little bit less consistent for what it is. I still think the deck's going to be bonkers good in a lot of ways, and I don't think I think most people are going to be like, okay, sure, the Simon goes to 1, but we're still playing this deck. It's still very strong. So it's going to be interesting to see how it does moving forward. Obviously, it is an Ultimate Cup format if you're not playing the X antibody stuff, which by and large I think most people are just off of it. If they do, they play like 1 copy of X antibody. It does have, I think, like some good ways to kind of combo into the idea of like, oh, if you have Star Deck Impmon, you can attack into like a Beelzemon, which then goes into an X antibody, especially since this gains memory when you attack with it, are also just mostly just the fact like you can go into this one, which lets you get memory back, which means it's really easy to keep it your turn and get some additional effects off it too. So you guys probably have your own opinions on this deck. We'll see if it still is good in the Ultimate Cup format. I think it is. I think it's going to be nearly as good. I think it's just going to be a little bit less consistent. Something else to note with this one too is that most people kind of focus on like the trash from deck ability for it, but it's also pretty much like the premier card to be playing off the EX2 BWGX when it gets trashed from your from your deck. So being able to, like, I think more people might be trying a little bit of the BT6 one, just because you can use it to kind of recycle into a level 6 if you need to. But yeah, it's a little rough that you also do like lose the top 4 to search for cards. So that might be a little bit impactful for this card being put to 1 as well. So anyways, this list, congratulations to Xialong for their finish there. Next up, we have Cameron with their top 4 Bloomlord. And Bloomlord, this is just kind of a funny coincidence how this kind of worked out. Beelzemon obviously is going to be hitting down to 1 at June 1st, which I think a lot of people were like, why? Why is this card? This hasn't been doing well. But then we had this get top 4 for this event. We also had it Bloomlord get second place in the Top Cut Online event, which I covered yesterday. So it's really, really funny. And then, after this weekend, people are like, maybe this card does deserve to go down to 1 in some regards. So we also had like another European event that I'm trying to get the deck. So maybe it did well in that one too. But I understand like why they want to do this. It is a bit of a weird hit, but I think that it's not like the end of the world, but it's also kind of justified in the fact like the Digisorption for free has always been a little bit busted. Obviously, Aandroidd is also at 1, and which is just mostly because of the inherited effect, I think, in a lot of ways, but I think the deck is fine. It is a little stinky because this is like vegetation, which is important for like your entire chain and everything. But I think Bloomlord's still going to be doing fine. It's also Hydramon's also going to be at 1 during the Ultimate Cup too. But as you can see, this is by and large a multicolor list, so we're going to see how it does well there too. Big difference between this format and the previous one for like the Ultimate Cup is that Coursmon is still is a very good card in the sense that it's a kind of like end game for this deck. Normally you kind of just sit on Bloomlord and Hydra, which is nice, but then you really don't have like a good level 7 or anything kind of go into. So Coursmon does kind of fix that in a lot of ways, being able to lock down your opponent as well as being able to like I still can't believe this card exists in this card game, especially since green has so many good like level 6s, and also now Coursmon is level 7 that gain memory when you digivolve into it, which means that within potential discoveries you can digivolve for minus memory. You get memory back for going to your digivolve. So I feel that's a little still. I wish this card was at 0, but we'll disagree with that for a little bit more. But anyways, this deck is going to be doing good. Also, shoutouts to running Takara Balmont as also your egg. Haven't seen this yet, which is kind of cool. So, and again, it has inherit effect. Your turn once per turn when you play a green Digimon, this Digimon gains plus 2k for the turn. So not too difficult to do and get some effects. Obviously, if you play like Sunflowmon and play something for free, you get a plus 2k. So I think that's strong as well if you need to. So anyways, this is Cameron's list. Congratulations for their top 4 there. Next up, we have both Blackwood Greymon X, since they both got top 16. So this is Mikail's list as well as Cody's list right here. And I would say Mikail's is a little bit different than from what I see normally. It uses a little bit more of the, it has no Kia instead of Cool Boy, which is interesting. So kind of like the same as Tai, where both of these gain memory, get memory back for going into your lines of Greymon, which is interesting, and then Tai as well. This lets you just you can play it for free out of your hand, which means you can play the Agumon here if you need to. It's only Agumon specifically, so it's not the X antibody for it too. So we don't have like a lot of good targets for it, and I almost would say like you'd want to see a little bit, maybe like the other the BT5 Agu as well. So you could get some more searches if you wanted to play off Nokia, but I think it's still fine. And also win rate 60%, which can help you get some reductions, because essentially the protection for the Greymon X antibody was nice to have, but the biggest thing for it is just that you're missing out on the reduction. You get to go up your line for a lot of it, but we do see the EX1 Greymon will be a little bit more popular, and this is a deck that you I feel like you had a good amount of chance to use it in the BT11 Ultimate Cup, but I'm interested to see how it works in the new Ultimate Cup as well, being able to you kind of have to choose red or black, and you do miss a little bit from either color now. Red was kind of like the de facto color because you kind of had your lines, but with Greymon X antibody only at 1, that's kind of there as well. And then also you do have your tamers that are black. Obviously you can't be playing the X antibody stuff either because it's white and Nokia and Cool Boy. So, or even your any level 7s like Omni X. So it's going to be interesting to see what does well if people play the red base more, the black base more, and what kind of comes from that. And then also this is Cody's list too. Looking a little bit, I would say this is like more of a standard line in general from what I've been seeing. So a lot of like the Cool Boy X Antibody, as well as like what you use like the Metagramon X Antibody here. You have the Ultras mode, no level 7 either, and then kind of like the split. And it's like 2 Black War Greymon X, 2 of the Black War Greymon, and then 2 of like the War Greymon. So all of these can be really nice. A lot of people just default use the BT12 Metal Greymon, not as much as like the BT8 Greymon as much, which is, I still think you like a copy or two goes a long way in a lot of ways, because it can help you in a lot of situations. And then again, we've been seeing a lot of the EX1 Greymon where, you know, when attacking once per turn, you can play 1 Takemiya with play cost of 3 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. So just another way to play this tie, which gets, you know, blocker and plus 1k every turn, which is nice. And we'll have to see again. It's going to be interesting to see what Black War Greymon does in the Ultimate Cup format, if it does anything. I think it probably will. I'm going to guess. I don't know. I really want to see if the black base is better in this format, and we'll see if that's the case or not. Obviously, the red base is strong here, but with the multiple colors, like you will be missing out on Yuya, you'll be missing out on ties. But on the other side too, like you just have a little bit less, like you will be missing out on Greymon X Antibody and the black base, and kind of like the red Metal Greymon X Antibody. So it's going to be interesting there too. So those are those. And then lastly, we have Mohammed's top 16 Machinedramon. And Machinedramon has been like a little bit more popular as we've been going on into this format. I think at the first couple weeks, they didn't really get any tops, but we've been getting the occasional one here and there. So I do think it's an interesting deck. Obviously, you can pretty much run it all black. We do have like a couple level 5 machines that and cyborgs that you have to take out of it if you're playing a mono black build. But by and large, it's very good. And you know, we saw Machinedramon do a little bit better in the BT11 Ultimate Cup as well, mostly because the format was slower, which meant that this deck could you know, afford to set up a little bit more. And when you set up, some decks just don't have really a lot of outs, especially with Kaustinen X Antibody, which is new to BT12. This is such a mean card if you're able to get this out. Some decks just literally can't do anything about it. And I feel like the only reason I was doing a little bit, you know, bad in BT12 is that Machinedramon is like the only card that can consistently out this card right now. And with that, this is a little bit worse, at least in that matchup, which is moderately popular. I'd say it's like the second most popular deck in this format. So not having like the Hunter's deck in the Ultimate Cup means that this deck gets a straight boost just because it doesn't exist either. So anyways, I think this deck's going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see how it does in Ultimate Cup as well. And congrats to Mohammed for their top 16 finish there. So that is going to be my breakdown again. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Shoutouts to PPG as well for providing these deck lists as well. Make sure to check out their website, which is linked on my website right here. And that's going to be it for me. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.